Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for your invitation. My name is Saša Grašič and I'm coming from Slovenia, from EQAVET National Reference Point, where I am coordinating the National Reference Point. I will try to share my presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I will try to be as short and focused as possible and mention our specificities, not to talk about the issues which were already mentioned by previous speakers. So in Slovenia, maybe it's important to mention that we have different kind of external evaluation, but inspection, review, accreditation process, and evaluation of working performance of principals are currently under the reform. And there's a lot of critical view toward these tools, especially to external evaluation made by inspection, which is focused to the evaluation if the school or the web provider is performing according to the legislation, and it's not focused to concepts, content, structures, processes on the school level or the output or any other results. So web providers actually don't really recognize this kind of external evaluation as support to the quality assurance and quality development. And beside that forms of external evaluation, we actually didn't have any other content-based external evaluation. So there was space for peer review as a tool for external evaluation, and finally we managed to find a form of external evaluation which is very well perceived by the web providers, and they like this method a lot. So it is a great motivation also for our national reference point to continue and to widen this method and to work on this furtherly. So in this year we came to the idea that we will try to work on quality culture through the peer review, and we decided to establish the community of peer schools. This community will be structured by the schools who would like to participate in peer review, to offer themselves to the peer review and use peer review as a tool for quality development. And from those schools, it is expected that they would step into the review each 3 to 5 years on the area which will be chosen by them, and also to offer some best teachers or headmasters or other staff to be trained as peers and offer the peer review to other schools. So beside the communities, this idea of peer review, that there is an equal exchange between the schools. This is, for example, some pictures from the training for peers from 2020. We used to implement peer review already from 2008 until 2010, and then there was a break for a few years, and we started to implement this method again in 2020 actually, but already in 2017 we step into the this common activity with Finland, Austria, Estonia, Croatia and Slovenia, where we reformed the criteria and indicators for European peer review. These areas are now completed and will be published this month. So there will be a new European manual for peer review available in this year. So from the idea of the community of peer schools is to build a quality culture, good relationships between the VET providers and also between the national level and VET providers. So we will work on building the identity of the community, values. We will organize presentation of the community at annual conference on quality in VET, publish promotional materials, make sure that the community will be visible on web page and so on. In Slovenia, we will try to continue with the peer review in both contexts, on national and on the international level. In both forms, we will use European criteria for peer review in VET. But in national context, there will be peers from national VET schools, and in international context, there will be peer teams, which will include also peers from VET schools of different European countries. We try to evaluate through our experience, because we already piloted both national and international form of peer review. And after our experiences with one and another form, we make some evaluation also at the final seminar with those 4 countries which were developing European manual for peer review. And this seminar was in January 2021, where we have evaluated together with different national reference points and also with the VET providers from different countries, what are the strengths and weaknesses of national form of peer review and international peer review. We have defined many of positive aspects of both and also challenges of both. And sometimes the positive aspects of one are challenges or the other, and other way versa. And finally, we decided in Slovenia that we believe in both forms of peer reviews, but we will offer to the web provider to decide which kind of form the web provider would like to choose. For example, positive aspects of national form of peer review is that the same standard of quality is on long term established among all web providers, so students have equal opportunities no matter which school they are attending. I mean, there always will be differences, but some kind we also can balance the differences and make them smaller through that kind of initiatives like peer reviews. Then the national criteria are more detailed and focused to national specifics. Well, in our case, we will use European criteria in both cases because we don't really have any other national criteria for peer review yet. But on the other hand, the international form of peer review reinforce mobility and trust among different European countries and reinforce international view on quality of VET, builds the European identity, European community, facilitate international partnerships, and so on. Challenges of national form of peer review is that in countries like Slovenia, which is really small, everybody knows everybody, and sometimes it's not easy for schools to expose. But on the other hand, when you have international form of peer review, there is more unknown situation and less pedagogical staff or less peers feel confident enough and fluent enough in English to participate as peers. The international form of peer review is also more consuming in time, finances, there's more organizational effort needed, and so on. Well, if we are talking about 5 phases of peer review, from planning to peer visit and self-evaluation report to peer visit to preparing peer review and then putting plans into action on the level of ed provider, there was in recent publications there was also the phase 5 exposed, which is evaluation of the peer review process and assessment and the impact of the peer review and improvement of the whole process. So we have decided that we will conclude this year working on peer review and implementation of the method into the national community. We will conclude this 1 year effort with the evaluation seminar where we will invite all the schools which were participating in peer review on national or international level as through piloting the European criteria. And also we will invite all the peers, and on both levels we will organize some kind of evaluation and reflection process. And we will focus especially to this question: how could the impact of peer review in review schools be reinforced? There are also some manuals and literature available on European level which are addressing this issue. Those manuals are peer review impact guidelines and peer review assessment tool. And there are also some tools available to evaluate the process of peer review and to reinforce the impact of the peer review on the level of the school. And that would be all for now. Thank you.